section. I'm here with my good friend Paul Lato of Paul Lato Wines. You know it's his section because here's the rock. I think the row's 46, but it doesn't really matter as long as the rock has never moved. We know we're in the right place. So welcome, Paul, and thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting me. This is a special place. I love to be here.
So Paul's been making Bien Nacido Syrah since 2002. Yes.
Which was only like 4 weeks after I came to the area when I moved down here. Yeah.
And was that was like one barrel for the whole world, was it?
That was one. Well, at the beginning it was 3 barrel, and then somehow I think I ran out of budget, or maybe you guys increased the prices so much that I couldn't afford it, and became 1 barrel. And then gradually, as things got better for me, I remember we are moving this stone almost every year to acquire a couple more rows. So I think we started with like 2 rows or 3 rows, literally, and then you know, every so often when I can afford it, I kind of call your office and ask for moving the stone by the few rows. So very organic, like the old European peasant, acquiring a little bit by bit, bringing cash in the pockets,
So here in Paul Lato's section, just like in Adam's section over in Solomon Hills, I've adopted this kind of triple 12 cross arm method that hides the fruit from the direct sun but opens it up to this dappled sunlight effect. Paul, who buys his section here by the acre year after year, he chooses the yield that he wants to get, and oftentimes it's quite low. How do you come to the decision as to when to pick your grapes?
As you know, it is not an easy decision. Every year, both of us struggle a little bit with that. Usually we don't have. Occasionally we have that issue of rain. If we go into first weeks of November, which sometimes happens, but in general we are not necessarily pressed by the weather. So waiting enough, but just enough for the grapes to maybe dimple, the better. But that's around the 24 and a half bricks usually when it happens. But it's not necessarily the bricks that we're talking about. We're talking the flavor in the. It's a really complex decision.
You get your grapes to the winery, in general, or with the Bien Nacido Syrah specifically. How do you work that Paul Lato magic?
Well, I'm not going to tell you all my secrets, okay? Especially now when you are making wine, because I know what you're fishing for, okay? But I'm gonna give you some philosophy here.
Okay.
All right. So first of all, there is philosophy. There is a process. The process is changing based on my experience, based on the year. I've been doing it for 13 years. I'm far from really, truly understanding, what's going on. I mean, every year we try to fine-tune and improve things. Nevertheless, there are some basic things that I'm following up. First of all, well, it's not Europe, so I adjusted that philosophy, meaning I'm not trying to make a copy of a European Syrah, even though I appreciate them and I love them, and philosophically they are somewhere at the back of my mind, but I'm trying to make great California wine, number one. So the waiting for ripeness is one of the parts of the process. Otherwise, we try to be very clean at the winery, have, well, low yields, the best fruit you can give me with low yields. We sort meticulously in the vineyard, then we sort it again at the winery, trying to have the cleanest, the most pristine fruit. For many years, or for several years, I was fully destemming the Syrah. The last few years, I'm kind of experimenting a little bit with stems on certain lots, and then we blend it together. Gentle vinification. We don't do any crazy things. We certainly try to be as natural as we can. Mostly using commercial yeast though, although sometimes we don't inoculate, depends on the year. And very, very, hands off, no chemistry, just very, very basic, a basic process. Then on this particular block, a lot of new oak. We went as high as 100%, and now I'm backing off to around 75. I find this particular fruit can take a lot of new oak, and this becomes frame to the beautiful picture, so to speak. With low pHs, with high acidity, we've been very successful using the best of Francois Frère and Hermitage barrels. And then at the end we make blends, and we select the best barrels. Usually 50% of the wine, or up to 60% would find itself to the bottle. So pretty strict selection.